Welcome back everybody. Of course, it's Cooking with Tammy. And as the holidays approach, I don't know about you, but I love warm, comforting, delicious flavor. Today I'm going to show you how to make a delicious brown stew pork recipe. So with all of that being said, let's get to cooking. Now here's the thing, my loves. We have about 4 to 5 pounds of pork that's been cubed, and we went ahead and cut the excess fat off of the pork. Maybe 1 or 2 pieces has a little bit of fat, and that's simply because the fat is going to also bring some extra flavor to this dish. But for the majority of the fat, it's out of here. Anyway, first thing we want to do with our cubed pork pieces is we are going to introduce some salt. You know what? Let's do some oil first. Adding the oil is going to make it a lot easier when it comes to spreading the dry seasonings. All right, so let's add that salt. This is kosher salt, by the way. However, you could definitely use regular salt if you want. Let's also go in with some ground black pepper, along with a little bit of my steak seasoning, garlic powder, or should I say granulated powder, but garlic powder will work just fine as well. Let's also add some onion powder. Our pork is going to be perfectly and well seasoned. I'm going to go in with some red chili. These are crushed chili flakes for that nice little heat factor and element. And last but not least, let's go in with some browning sauce. The browning sauce is not only going to allow it to caramelize lovely, but it's also going to bring deep, rich flavor into the meat as well once we start the browning process. When it comes to adding the browning sauce, it's totally up to you and how much browning you want to add. If you like the color that you see on the pork pieces, then you don't have to add any more. If you want the pork to be, or any protein that you're browning actually, if you want it to be like really, really dark and rich with that caramel flavor, you can go ahead and add just about as much as you want to add. All right, let's add some more caramelized brown sugar, aka browning sauce. And here's the thing, my loves, if you don't have browning sauce, let me help you out. You're gonna get your heavy duty pan or pot. You're gonna heat up some oil, all right? And you're gonna add some granulated sugar. And you're gonna toss that sugar around in the hot oil until it starts to brown. Once the sugar starts to brown, then you're gonna add your meat and you're gonna sear it off in the sugar and oil. Once you're done, you're gonna have the perfect brown color on your meat, and you're gonna have that rich, deep, in-depth flavor as well. All right, my loves, this is looking good so far. It's smelling really good. All right, so now here's the thing. You can cover this down with some saran wrap and allow it to marinate in the refrigerator for about maybe 30 minutes. However, if you don't have that time, like right now we are in a little bit of a rush, we're gonna go ahead and start to brown this meat. And the great thing about it is because we seasoned it so well, it doesn't even need to marinate for 30 minutes. You know what I'm also gonna add to this brown stew? I'm gonna add some fresh rosemary. All right, and I also wanna add some fresh thyme as well. If you have dried rosemary, you could definitely add dried. Same thing with the thyme. All right, let's get it in there. Just hold it like that and pull against the stem, pull in the opposite direction. Let me just show you one more time. Thyme leaf. You see those little leaves? You're gonna pull against it and it's gonna come off super easy. And in the meanwhile, in the background, let's grab our heavy duty pot or pan. We're gonna heat that one up. We're gonna add a couple tablespoons of oil to the pan to get the party started. All right, once that oil comes up to temperature, we want everything to lay flat in the pan because we want to create that surface contact. The meat is perfectly brown, so I'm going to go ahead and remove it. Place it into this bowl. Check out those lovely bite-sized chunky pork pieces. The aroma is phenomenal right now. It smells so good. All of those lovely spices that we used, it's definitely coming through. It's a possibility, right? Once the meat starts to break down and everything starts to render, you're gonna get some water going on in the pan or the pot, right? And what's gonna happen is it's gonna seem like it's steaming the meat, because at some point, even if the heat is like literally flaming and you add a ton of meat to the pot, and like I said, once that water starts to extract from the meat, no worries, keep that flame going. And what's gonna happen is not only is the water gonna steam the meat and make it nice and tender, but also once that water dries out, the initial oil that you added to the pot is gonna become visible again, and that same oil is what's gonna fry your meat nice and brown, and you're gonna get that perfect brown color. Alrighty, let's add our onions to the oil, because we do have enough oil going on in here. And we're also gonna add our green onions, and we're gonna saute down all of our veggies. All right, let's add our bell peppers as well. I'm not gonna add the garlic just yet, because garlic does burn fast. Get those bell peppers in there. And once we're done, we're gonna give everything a good toss. Toss it around. Allow the veggies to pick up on all of that beautiful flavor that's at the bottom of the pan. Let's add some garlic. And that would be it when it comes to the aromatics. Stir that on in. All right, after about 2 to 3 minutes, we are gonna add some tomato paste. About 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. It's gonna give it a nice acidity contrast. And it's also gonna help with thickening up the sauce as well. Okay, that should be about 2 tablespoons. Gonna stir it up really, really good, and we're gonna cook our tomato paste. Perfect. At this point in time, let's add our brown sugar. Our hardened brown sugar. It's been sitting in the ramekin for quite some time. All right, mix that on up really good as well. And don't worry, your stew is not going to be sweet. It's just going to be the perfect balance. Let's add our allspice. Stir that in as well, along with our ground ginger, smoked paprika. Flavors, I tell you, flavors. And give everything about a minute in order to come together. We're gonna add a couple sprigs of fresh thyme. Now, of course, if you don't want to add the sprigs, you could always hold the thyme like I showed you earlier and just pull against the leaves, and that will be it. We're gonna add our bay leaves as well, along with our chicken broth. If you don't have chicken broth, you can just mix some bouillon powder or a bouillon paste with some water, and that should work perfectly fine. Stir this on up. Let's add our apple cider vinegar for that contrast of flavor. To elevate the flavors even more, right? Just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we're gonna add both soy sauce and Worcestershire sauce. What I love about Worcestershire sauce, especially when it comes to like brown stew, is Worcestershire has that salty but yet sweet and savory taste, or should I say flavor profile going on, which, oh my goodness, is amazing. Let's add some soy sauce as well. And that is it, okay? Just a couple drops of the soy sauce, and that's all you need. Give it one final mix. And we're gonna add our beef, not beef, but pork chunks back to the pot. You look at the color and it looks just like beef. This is gorgeous. Can't even tell the difference. You're gonna make sure the meat sits at the bottom of the pot. We want the meat to be covered with the gravy. And what we're gonna do is, right, we have 2 options here before we add the Scotch bonnet, okay? Now, adding the Scotch bonnet is gonna create that perfect element of flavor. It's not going to make your stew hot or spicy, simply because we're not breaking the pepper, okay? If you break the pepper and once the seeds are exposed, forget about it, call the fire truck, okay? But what's gonna happen is it's gonna extract the flavors minus all of that severe heat, if you will. But anyway, like I was saying before, two options when it comes to cooking our stewed pork. Now I can cover it down, place it onto the stove top, and allow it to go for about 2.5 to 3 hours until the meat is nice and tender. Or I could continue the braising process in the oven at about 375 Fahrenheit, that is, for about maybe 2 hours, or until the meat is nice and tender. Either way, you have options. It's about 20 minutes left on the clock, so let's check and see what's going on. The aroma. That's all I'm gonna say. The aroma. Oh, this will make, listen. I was gonna say something, but never mind. All right. Since it's 20 minutes left on the clock, we're gonna add our root veggies, okay? That could be parsnips, it could be anything. But for this particular recipe, we're gonna add some Irish potatoes along with our carrots. Gonna mix it on up in the stew. And as most of us know, potatoes take about 20 minutes to become fork tender. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna cover it back down. We're gonna allow it to cook for those remaining 20 minutes. Let's go in for a piece of our beautiful brown stewed pork. Look at, oh my goodness, look, right? Just by coming in contact with the other fork. Nah, ooh, let's go, let's go. Besides being super hot, the flavor profile is everything plus more. Oh my goodness. When I tell you, juicy, tender, chunky, bite-sized pieces of pork. Wow. Would you believe this was the pork shoulder? Boneless pork shoulder. Let me tell you something. This was no more than, I think, about maybe 10 bucks for like 4 pounds. So worth it, my loves. And we bought some root veggies to stretch it a little bit. Of course, you're going to pair it with whatever you want to pair it with. All of the flavors, I'm getting that little hint of spice from the Scotch bonnet. I'm tasting the allspice. Wow, this is amazing, my loves. Definitely give this recipe a try, because guess what? It's going to be so worth it. Oh, and before I go, don't forget to take out those thyme leaves along with the bay leaves as well before serving it up. And you'll be good to go. All right, we're going to go ahead and plate some up just to give you an idea of how to rock out with this beautiful stew. You could honestly pair it with polenta, rice and peas, rice and beans, mashed potatoes, you name it, okay? Either way, it's gonna be amazing. Not to mention, we even have gravy at the bottom. Yes, baby. This is good right here. This is good stuff. We're gonna add some fresh parsley, my loves, and that's basically all she wrote. That's it. Continue to tune in Cooking with Tammy. I'm going to bring you these delicious, quick, and easy recipes. We're going to, oh my goodness, we're going to be cooking it up. Just know that much. Give this recipe a try. Let me know what you think. And as always, I will catch you in another video. Talk to you later. Bye, guys.